Joining us on Sports Overtime to break down the draft is one of the all-time great quarterbacks from Zeeland High School, Tim Twentyman. Now he writes for the Detroit Lions. And Tim, great to have you. Thanks for joining us again this year. What are the Lions doing with number 2?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? It's a weird draft, Jack, in that, normally every year you see the top of the draft driven by the quarterback position, and that's just not the case this year. And so it's a strange draft in that sense that, when you talk about number 1 pick, number 2 pick, the value is always in quarterbacks, guys that can get after the quarterback and guys that can protect the quarterback. And so with the absence of the quarterback position, it's really about the edge rushers, which Detroit needs. I mean, their 30 sacks last year were the 3rd fewest in the NFL. Their pass rush win rate was the 2nd lowest in the NFL. So, they need a guy that can get after the quarterback on the edge. They don't need, a guy that can protect. They got Penei Sewell last year. So I really see the biggest value at the top of this draft being, an edge rusher. And there's a bunch of them this year that could help the Lions.
If Hutchinson's gone, do you think we're seeing Sauce Gardner. We're seeing different names come out of there. We saw what happened with the Okudah pick a couple of years ago. They still haven't addressed edge rush. Do you think there's a chance the Lions go in a different direction?
I mean, there's always a chance. I think when you do the evaluation, if you're Brad Holmes, you rate these guys, you create your board, and I think you have to trust your board. And if there's a cornerback or a safety, a Kyle Hamilton, or somebody that you really value, that you really love, I think you have to trust your board. But that being said, I just think in terms of position value, they've done their homework on a lot of these edge rushers. I mean, the Kayvon Thibodeaux, the Jermaine Johnsons, the Kayvon Walkers, they've really done a lot of homework. And I just think the fit at number 2 with the need, I think just makes sense for their board to align to probably one of these edge rushers when it's all said and done, if Aiden Hutchinson isn't there at 2.
If he's not there, who do you like it to?
Well, there's 2 guys. One of them is kind of a popular choice, and then I'll throw kind of a wild card that I love for you. I mean, I think Kayvon Thibodeaux is probably a name everybody knows and talks about. The Lions have done a lot of homework. Brad Holmes went out to his pro day when we were in LA playing the Rams week 5. Oregon was playing UCLA. He caught that game, and Kayvon had a terrific game. And then they brought him into Detroit for a pre-draft visit. So they're really doing their homework, crossing all their T's, dotting all their I's with Kayvon Thibodeaux. I think that one makes sense. But Jack, one of my favorite players in this draft is Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher out of Florida State. A guy had 12 sacks, 17 and a half tackles for loss, 70 tackles, one of the best edge guys against the run. And, if you play for Dan Campbell, you got to be able to stop the run and play a good edge. And, people talk about, well, he went to Florida State. He had just one great year. Well, he was at Georgia in 2020, and the guy had 5 sacks in 6 games. He saw the writing on the wall that he was probably going to be a rotational guy with how good that Georgia defense was. So he decides to go to Florida State, and he is just terrific. I have never seen someone dominate the Senior Bowl, Jack, like I saw Jermaine Johnson this year since Aaron Donald in 2014. Now, I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on the young man, but I'm just saying I've never seen a guy dominate that annual all-star exhibition the way Jermaine Johnson did. He's one of my favorite players. I think he's going to be an instant impact rookie. Now, it's just most people kind of see him in that 5 to 12 range. Do the Lions view him at 2? I don't know. We'll have to see, but he's one of my favorite players in this draft.
There's usually when you've got that second pick and there are some quarterbacks, there are lots of teams coming at you with trade offers. Do you expect the Lions to have many trade offers coming at them, draft day and before draft day?
I think they'll field some calls, like we talked about the top of the quarterbacks and the guys who protect the quarterbacks, the left tackles. I think there's 2 guys at the top of this draft, a kid from Alabama, a kid from NC State, that I think maybe some teams will really like if they really want a left tackle, if they think that's maybe the next piece or the last piece to kind of take them to the next step. I could see a team moving up for a tackle, probably before a quarterback, just because what we talked about, there's not that dynamic guy. I think there's a huge ceiling with Malik Willis, the quarterback out of Liberty. And look, the Lions coached him at the Senior Bowl, so they know him very, very well. There's been some talk about, Carolina, some teams taking some interest there that could possibly move up. But Jack, when it's all said and done, I think if the Lions are going to field calls at 2, my prediction would be it's for a left tackle and maybe not so much for a quarterback. So maybe there's that hope there. I think that the Lions would love to move back to, later in the top 10, maybe right in the low teen range, pick up some draft capital, still get a guy that can really help their defense. Currently they have 5 picks in the top 97. You can talk about 6, 7 picks in the top 100. Boy, you could really turn around your team, add some talent, and maybe make a quick jump in 2022 if you're Lions.
As it is, they've got 3 of the top 34. Do you expect them to take a quarterback with one of those first 3 picks?
I do not. That's just kind of my thought. I think obviously, we'll see where their board kind of falls if it fits with the draft slot. But I just think you've got so many needs on defense. I think when I look at this football team, Jack, I think offensively, the way they finished last year and what they have coming back and what they've added, I think that side of the football is so much farther ahead than the defense. And you've got some terrific coaches on that side of the defense with Aaron Glenn and Aubrey Pleasant and a lot of the names. I think you just have to infuse some talent onto that side of the football. So I think at 2, if you get an edge rusher, you can help there. You get a safety or a linebacker at 32, 34. And then I think you finish out the offensive side of the football with a wide receiver. Now, I think if you come away with this draft with an edge rusher, a safety and or linebacker and a wide receiver in your first 3 picks, boy, I think you've really helped this football team a lot.